Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports.
That's how you win a hockey game. Welcome to Woodward Wings. I am Justin Satawa. No Spencer Raxer for you today. He deserves this day off for the weight that he's carried for this network. But I am here to break down that game. And this is a game where you could have thought that these Red Wings were dead, but they kept coming back time after time, down twice in this game, and then in overtime as well. And here we go, Jesse Woodward. Amazing comeback. We needed to have that no-quit attitude down the stretch. We got the playoffs in the bag. Absolutely. That was so big. And, I mean, first of all, you got to hit on Simon Edvinsson. Simon Edvinsson goes down in the first period or second period after block job. He said in the postgame, couldn't feel his leg for a while, then comes back with the game-winning beauty. And that was all by just there being no quit by this Red Wings team down the stretch there in the third period. They were relentless. Every time that they were going after the puck, especially in overtime, you know, you get the bounces. The puck squirts right onto Edvinsson's stick for a mini breakaway, makes a beautiful move on, I'm forgetting who, Wolf, and then just buries it. What a play. And that's what happens when you have a 6-6 reach and you're just, what a game, man. Thank you for tuning in. This is Woodward Wings. And, I mean, I am just elated. I got to catch my breath for a second. Mo Sider, another snipe added to the shelf of points that he's put up over the last few games. Looking great. Talbot, a great game. Talbot made a lot of great saves down the stretch there. And they just, him and Gibson right now are proving to be the formidable combo that we thought. They're playing at an A level right now, and down the stretch is going to be 3-0 versus the Leafs this year. Hell yeah, Jason Pratt. And even though Sean isn't a Red Wings fan, I know he's hyped because he hates the Maple Leafs more than anything. Simon the Redwood, that's a great one. And Hilby is the goalie for the Leafs. Thank you, Jason. I apologize. I couldn't give less of a shit about the goalie for the Leafs because we just won that game. Can we all agree Mo Sider is getting the Norris this year? I think that's a little too far because there still is Cale Makar. Cale Makar is just way too dominant. I don't think that he's going to be far off, though. I'm starting to inch my top 10 up to the 7 and the 5 for how well he's playing, and it's allowing Edvinsson to play what you just saw him do. The offense is developing for Edvinsson. It's getting better, and then the physicality. Then, you know, they come right in Talbot's crease out screaming old-time hockey. I fucking love that shit. They come down and they come down on and don't let them touch Talbot. End up on the power play, and they weren't taking any shit. I loved it. Just completely grit effort from 1 to 28 on this roster. You saw them. Oh my God. I'm sorry. My voice is playing in the background because my family's watching me, and it's throwing me off. However, how's his knee? I'm assuming it's just a bruise. When you get hit like that in the back of your leg, it hurts like hell. I'm assuming he has a Charlie horse in the back of his leg. The fact that he was able to return to the game and play that at that high level is a great thing to see. He's probably just going to get some maintenance day over the next few practices. Like you've seen Sider. We've seen Sider in the warm-ups a couple times, not going out there and practicing. I think that's a norm. Can we talk about the Carolina game? They were in that game. The Wings have fight. Yeah, that's the thing. They're out-talented in some of these games. Not necessarily today, because I don't think the Maple Leafs without Marner are showing to be as big of a tough matchup for the Red Wings than the Carolina. But Carolina's star-studded. They are so good up and down. They got a BC in there who started in his head. However, they were in that game. They needed a couple goals on the power plays that they were given, and they didn't capitalize. But that's how that style from last year, it continues into this year, where if they are going to be really good teams, they have to be very good on the power play, and they were not against Carolina. Happy holidays, Justin and Detroit sports fans. Thank you. I think it's Kiazi. Appreciate you, my boy. $5 super chat from St. Vengeance. Danielson should not be overlooked. He continues to look great in both games. I absolutely agree. That third line today with Leonard on it looked outstanding. And Danielson is playing at an extremely high level. He looks fast out there. He looks confident. He's making plays. I would have thought that he would have got some type of run in overtime if it fell that way where we were late in overtime after a couple long shifts. I really like what we're seeing from Danielson, and I just when Casper finds his legs, I know we keep saying that, but I continue to believe that he's playing good hockey. It will fall his way. He's in a huge sophomore slump right now. I've been there in my career, not at this level, obviously, but when you're snake bit, you're snake bit. It's hard to find goals. He's just got to continue to take shots and take his chances, and eventually they'll start falling. And I definitely believe he's still going to have, over 15 goals this year. It's not going to be anything crazy, but he's still going to be able to put up some very solid numbers as well. Definitely can't wait for Kosa. And the thing about this, it's not just Kosa. It's the fact that you are going to be so much better in the back end and being comfortable putting a rookie back there with how well Edvinsson and Sutter have played. Surratt and ASP made some mistakes today. I'll be the first one to say it. They hit the second goal, completely on him. He misplayed that puck in the corner. Veteran move by Tavares. I mean, he's been in the league forever. He makes the play, picks him up, picks his pocket, and makes that play. That's all it is. It's a rookie mistake. He'll learn from it. However, he came back 2 shifts later, blocked a crucial shot, put his body on the line, and that's the type of things when your rookies are all putting their body on the line for the culture of the team. That's where this team is different in my eyes, and where they're controlling the paint like they didn't take any ish when Cam Talbot was throwing his way. And also, he was bringing the blocker punches. That hurts more than anything. That is a solid pad. It is a full-on momentum of a brick coming at your face. That hurts a ton, but Talbot was given to him. And I didn't say that. Jace in the Saw Cave. Go Wings. That's actually hilarious. Yeah, shout out. I'm up north at the moment. I was able to get a couple days to sneak up here, so thank you. Shout out to Anson. He was able to grant me my wishes. I'm tired of the Casper excuses, and I think that's fair. He's been put in any position to succeed, but I'm not willing to give up on him. And we're seeing how all these young players are coming up and they're making, their waves. And he's kind of going into the back end, and he's kind of being overlooked. And I like that for him. I think he's going to have a big second half of the year, especially after a nice Olympic break. I expect big things out of Marco Casper. And even if it's not in the stat sheet, he's still making a difference out there. He's still hitting. He's still doing a lot of things that are positives. We need all the points we can get. March is coming. Absolutely, Shelby. March is coming, and you can't fall off as well. You have to continue to do this, but this is what you're talking about. You were put into position against a division rival who was able to steal a point off you by taking them into overtime. You go in and win overtime, where you then put up our differential. You take back the #1 seed in the East as well in the Atlantic, which is huge. Everyone today was, it's the battle for the first in the Eastern Conference, which it's Lightning versus Habs. Fuck the Habs. Fuck the Lightning. Pardon my language. The Wings are still first in the Atlantic, and I'm going to enjoy it while it is, because as the rest of the season isn't guaranteed, right now they're playing some damn good hockey and giving me a lot of faith to believe in them making the playoffs. And that's where I sit right now, and I think I'm going to stay for a little while, because I do believe in this team. I think this team has a lot of good things going for them right now, and the analytics back up that they should be a playoff team. And I'm not going to be the one that sits here and poo-poos my team, because I really do believe in this team and how they're playing. And, I mean, Nielsen was texting me all about it yesterday. Yesterday was a scheduled loss to Carolina. I agree. That's a tough time coming off winter break. You got to travel to Carolina instead of them coming to you like Toronto had to tonight. And you saw it in the third period. Toronto had more tired legs in the third period than you, and that's where you were able to jump back on them and do what they have done all year, and that's choke away leads. They can't hold a lead. So, man, what a time. In January, Casper, Danielson, and Leonard will be shocking third line if they kept them together. I think they'd be good. They look good today. I think they got a good mix of, I like Leonard there because he's got a natural shot. Danielson's a playmaker. Casper can muck it up. Danielson can also muck it up. And Leonard knows how to play that physical third line style. I think that's a great pair that could be there at the end of the year. Dr. Detroit, any upgrades coming? I think in time. I do believe that there's going to be some sort of move at the deadline because of the fact you're in such a different position than you were last year. Last year, you were chasing. You were barely on the cusp of the playoffs. Right now, you're consistently sitting in the top three in your division, rarely dropping down to that 7-8 wild card spot, never touching outside of the playoffs in like the last, I believe, 12 games it's been since you've dropped out of the playoffs completely. This would be a great time to add, and you have such a plethora of prospects. I saw it in here. Plante is one of them. He's playing in the World Juniors right now. He had a goal against Germany. I mean, you have so many high-level prospects where I'm not saying you have to trade them now, but if you are in the future looking to make a big move for an asset, I think there's a lot of good moves that can be made out there. It will be very interesting to see if we add anyone. I agree, and I hope that this is the year. I don't want to get my hopes up too much because of the last 2 years, but I really do feel. I'm sorry, it's Plant. I keep calling him Plante. I apologize. It's Plant. I know I have to better. I got that in my head the first time that we drafted him. Someone said it wrong, and I've continued to say it wrong. That's on me. Plant is playing very well, leading the NCAA in scoring as well. Saint Vengeance with the $2 super chat. Carolina showing us we aren't talented or big enough, and they did. They did expose that aspect. I knew that when they threw Cider over the wall, and that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in the last couple of years of being a Wings fan. But it happened, and you had to sit there and be amazed because they continued to just wear down this Red Wings team. They do need to get bigger. They do need to get more physical, and they do need to have a couple more years on some of these younger guys. They stayed in that game though, and they competed, and until the very end, they fought, and that's what I want to see. The Carolina hopefully is not the team you match up again, but even if you do, last year I thought we would have got swept out of the room by Carolina. This year we're gonna put up a fight. It's gonna be a 5-6 game series. We're gonna win a couple games, and that's a building block, and we'll build on that. Hopefully, going into the next season, add someone and really start feeling confident about ourselves moving forward. Need to add a big FU defender? Absolutely, Pat Moses. I completely agree. Tampa and Florida would bully Detroit in the playoffs. And that's the world that you live in. You have to get bigger. You have to continue to grow. And where the Johanssons and the JBDs probably need to turn into some bigger bodies here down the stretch. So if you can move them to get a bigger body, you might have to. But the one small D that's the non-negotiable is ASP. ASP is the only small D that you really can afford to have in your unit, where the other three have to be big and physical. But you also need to get bigger in your forward groups too. Your forward groups have to be bigger as well. And I think that will only help as years to come. Kane will be gone maybe next year. I mean, you assume so with how much talent we have coming up from the minors at next year, or possibly if so they actually add a free agent to fit out this top six. However, Finney's 6 foot. He's still filling out. I mean, you saw how much Raymond throw on 15 pounds between his rookie and sophomore year. That's something I expect out of Finney. This to be 6 foot 210. Finney's going to be a big dude at some point, and I'm excited for that. Henry Moon, don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Good night. Thank you, Henry Moon. We appreciate you. Appreciate all you being here. I mean, what more can you be than happy when the Wings win? Tap it into your favorite show with, hopefully, one of your favorite hosts for the Red Wings, because I love doing it for you guys. Whiskey and Wings. Steve just daydreaming the season away. We can't afford to give points away down the stretch. We need to upgrade the D now. I agree. As solid as JBD and Johansson have been, you really need another second line level defenseman where you can put with ASP to really shore up that second pair, move Sherratt down, and have Sherratt be your bully back there. Me and Spenny have been calling for that for a long time. I think it's the only way that you can make like a real battle with a team in the postseason, is really becoming more physical. And I saw in there who was sitting out tonight. JVR and Soderblom weren't in tonight, or I think Soda did play. I didn't really notice him. I can't lie. I really was like, I was in one of those modes where I wasn't really analyzing. I was really being a fan, enjoying the comeback. I was really nervous at a point as well. I was thinking, oh boy, what if we blow this game? That would be really bad. We need Tage Thompson. I beg. But Buffalo's on an 8-game heater, and they look like they're doing great. But also, to be honest, yeah, Soda was out. That's what I thought. Like, Lyon is doing his. We know it all too well. All right, let's not act like Alex Lyon is going to play the way he's been playing over the last couple of games. Alex Lyon has the once a season where you think, oh, well, maybe Alex Lyon is a franchise goalie. He's over 9 save percentage. He's winning his games. Oh, my God. Well, do we actually have something here? We had the same conversation last year, and it ended up just fizzling out, and he was awful down the stretch. That's why he's not here anymore. He was a big part of those March collapse games, and when you're not good enough, you're not good enough, and you're gone. And you're seeing that with Buffalo, and you're going to see it. Call up St. Louis for Broberg on D. I would love that. St. Louis is definitely a team that you're going to be targeting. They could be giving up guys. Boston's still unsure what they're doing. They're kind of humming along in the standings, but there's still been rumors that they're looking to sell. The Pens are still hanging on with a thread. We're going to see. There's not a lot of teams that seem like they're going to be selling right now. And we saw that last year. When it's a buyer's market, it's tough to really get players because you have to overpay, and Stevie has a price. And you saw it with the Quinn stuff, and you're going to continue to see it every single time we're in trade talks. To make that move, you're going to have to give up someone. Detroit is lacking depth for left-handed defensemen. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Because I like Aljo is a third pair D. He's just a second third pair D. If you understand what I'm saying, he is the sixth defenseman. He can't be the fifth defenseman. And I know that's, splitting hairs and whatever, but when you're trying to build a championship roster or even a playoff competing roster, I still question if he's a third line on a championship level roster. But no matter what, he is a third pairing defenseman. We'll have to see if he grows to be anything else, but I definitely think a left-handed defenseman and a second line center is where you're looking at when it comes to making a move. Aljo's going to be our de facto third pair right D. Yeah, I think so. I think so too. I don't think you're making a move there at all. I expect something at left D, either for a third line or second line defenseman or a second line center. The Preds are a team to look at. I know Ryan O'Reilly is a name that's been floated out there. I can't lie. I haven't watched too much Predators hockey, but I know he's a veteran, plays the penalty kill, wins a ton of faceoffs, which is something that we suck at. We got absolutely cooked on faceoffs against Carolina. Pretty good tonight in the circle. A lot of good draw wins down the stretch. Only lost one draw in overtime as well. Please, God, get rid of Confer. I agree, man. I'm just so sick of Confer. He's so bad. He just is an absolute pylon out there. It would be unreal if we could get rid of him. I don't know how feasible that is. However, I mean, you know what time it is. I always do it. I love to see the analytics and what line played the best in 5-on-5. And the winometer before the third period was actually favoring the Leafs. The Leafs had a 65% chance to win the game going into the third period. But after the game, it was a 64%. So they swung the momentum so much by dominating the third period. It really shows how well they played in that third period. And wow, Andrew Kopp with the best 5-on-5 game for all Red Wings, as well as ASP, DeBrincat, a lot of names, Leonard, Danielson, Evanson, a lot of names that you don't usually see at the top, which you love to see. That's how you win games when your stars aren't necessarily playing like your stars. You get a lot of production from a lot of your lower. I mean, that's how the Panthers have been doing it for so long is the production from the bottom of the roster. We know that there's non-negotiables like DeBrincat's going to score over 35 goals a year. Raymond's going to have, 50 plus assists. But, when we're getting production from the bottom, it's great. And your best line today was Kane, Kopp, and DeBrincat, and they were moving up and down the ice. They were really getting moving. It was great to see them play. Every line, however, was plus in the category of goals for against, except for Rasmussen, Comfort, and Appleton, but they still came out, and Appleton had that nice snipe to bring the Wings back to even. And that response that they had was what like we've come to expect. Every time they get scored on, they find a way to come back and respond in a really positive way. And I'm having a great time enjoying the season. Make sure, are you guys at the point where you want the playoffs like desperately? We're at a point where we need the playoffs. It is part of the next step that we need to take. But it's not at the point where you are not enjoying the ride to getting to the playoffs. So we're a good team. We need to get to the playoffs. It's what we expect now that they're sitting in this position. It's what we should expect going into the trade deadline with them making some sort of acquisition. But are you still enjoying the ride, or is it just about the playoffs? And I'll let you guys take a second and answer that. I'm waiting until after the Olympic break. All right, I think that's fair to truly just because I'm getting to a point where like I'm really starting to believe. Like I am like the fandom is starting to come out. Like I have this team and like they need to make the playoffs. Like they're just now getting to a point where it's playoffs or bust. It's just we need. I'm not gonna not enjoy the ride on the way. Like even chasing the playoffs 2 years ago with the goal, and then at the same time they let up the empty netter in the Caps game, and the Caps end up making the playoffs. Away fan, they will big dog shout out. Thank you, shout out to my dog, away fan, and Broder, my boy in here. Appreciate you tuning in, enjoying the ride, but they do need to make it. I'm glad a lot of you guys are to know I don't care about the ride, make the playoffs. And that's just as fair. I'm not going to kill you for that. I completely well, yeah, St. Vengeance. It wasn't enjoyable losing to Carolina, but that's Carolina. They are the best team in the Eastern Conference for a reason. And come playoff time, anything can happen because they are notorious playoff chokers. I think the schedule is going to get them. I'm going to enjoy the ride, but if no moves are made, I think we fall short. I agree with that, Whiskey. I think that's the perfect because down the stretch it gets so hard. You play all the best teams in both leagues the entire March, April, and even most of February. And you're gonna like it's gonna be. I think Jason has a good head on it. With you're gonna have to see at the Olympic break if moves are made, then you really can get excited that we're probably going to make the playoffs. The Wings were also in that Carolina game until Larkin lost an edge. Hockey isn't any given night. It isn't any given night, especially in a series like that. And if last year if we played Carolina, I thought we would get swept. If we played them today, I think we would. I think we'd lose in 5 or 6. I think we would at least take a game, probably 2. I'd be more leaning 2 than 1. I still lack confidence for a cup, but we should be a playoff bound by now. I think working at 4 a.m. Much love to all. Be safe and we'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you for tapping in the way, fan. I hope that you have a safe drive tomorrow while you're working. And the Wings needed the Carolina game to get sturdy and improve. Got to beat the best. Got to be the best to beat the best. Yeah, I do think they needed that little bit of medicine. They have been playing great hockey lately, and they needed to get a little bit of some medicine served to them so that they can continue to play these gritty types of games because that's how you respond. Like we did. I wouldn't say we were really in that Carolina game. We got outplayed completely, but there was no quit, and they continued to press and come. And if they would have capitalized on some of their power plays down the stretch, they could have been in that game, but they got completely outplayed. They got dominated in the faceoff circle. But I don't want to really talk about that. They took the season series over Toronto, and that's the thing we lost a lot of games for Toronto last year, and that was good to see out of the fellas. They're making the playoffs. They're making the playoffs without moves. You make moves to go for a cup, not to get a playoff spot. I agree, but there's moves to make for both, and there's something to speak about like for this group at this point for them to get some playoff experience. It's also, do we want to keep having the Nikola Ehlers situation where in the offseason players don't want to come here because we haven't made the playoffs in forever? Like, do we want players to not want to come here? Like, making the playoffs shows that linear growth that we're looking for. And yeah, I am at the cabin. Ski mask. Thank you for asking. Yeah, me and my dad drove through it today. It was absolutely brutal. I didn't drive for most of it, but Gibson did keep them. And Gibson's playing lights out. That was Gibson's first loss in 9 starts. And I really am starting to believe in Gibson. I think maybe he just had to get a little rust out of the pads or in the new pads, get them all loosened up. And now he's rolling because he's rolling now. And he's playing some great hockey, and so is Cam Talbot. So between the two, I really like the goaltending tandem. It's easily the best that this goaltending has been for the entire rebuild that you can have faith in. And you don't even have Kosa either. Who is playing absolutely lights out right now down in the A. So you got a Starlink up there. No, we have just AT&T or Xfinity box, the huge. For sure. Let's go skate tomorrow, Sheboygan. I'm going skiing tomorrow, actually. I'm going to go hit up Boyne. I haven't skied in like 4 or 5 years. I'm going to hit the slopes. I got my USA hockey jersey. I got the Olympic jersey that I'm going to whip out and rock it on the slopes. I'm pretty excited. I usually don't ski because I have been, playing hockey, so I've been trying to avoid injury for most of my life. But I'm going to, go have some fun. I used to be a pretty good skier back in the day. SDPN giving the Wings wild props. No more Red Saber disrespect. I don't know what that means, but I think it's about lines. And if you want to reiterate that, Alex Tuck would be a perfect addition. He plays right wing. He's a big body. He can play 1 through 3. I would really like to see that. That would be a move that I would definitely want to make. He's a rental as well. They're trying to work out a contract. They haven't been able to. I would even be interested in paying him for a couple seasons. He's the type of guy where his game is a lot of mental. It's not based on speed, so it's not something that really deteriorates over time. He's based on big body and um and a lot of like heavy shot and getting in front with some tips. That's the type of game that doesn't really deteriorate until you're older. I would love that move, and I don't think the price is going to be that high, because you're only going to be bidding against playoff teams who aren't willing to give up players who are playing on their roster right now. I think Boyne Mountain Ski Mask. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the POW tomorrow. Yep, 8 inches of snow. It should be pretty fun. I'm really excited. Yeah, I would have been so pissed if they would have got Rossi, St. Vengeance. I did not like those rumors at all. I think that we have MBN who can be brought up for the playoffs. I think MBN is great, but he's still an unproven. He still came up and was not unable to score in the NHL, and we need him to score. We need him to play in front of the net. I mean, he's really benefiting from this time in the AHL, and I question whether or not I went on whether or not we're gonna bring him up even soon. I think they want him to get as hot as possible. Um, yeah, it's. I mean, I'm like even distance from both of them. Ski Mask. I'm like right in the middle, right near Petoskey. But yeah, I think we're. I mean, maybe we're going to Highlands. I don't even know. I don't planish. I think that I'm letting my sister decide. She's gonna be up here tomorrow. We're gonna figure it out. MBN doesn't score. Yeah, I agree, St. Benjamin. He needs to be proven, but also I do think he's going to get a shot at the end of the season at some point. He's deserves it, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that he doesn't because he's absolutely ripping it in the AHL. He's over a point per game. I see Panarin in here as well. Panarin is solid, but I feel like a cup contender is going to definitely want to take a run at him. He's a proven scorer. It'd be nice to add that scoring, but also he doesn't help you play Carolina. He doesn't help you play the Panthers. He helps you play the Habs and other teams that aren't necessarily big physical teams, but Panarin doesn't, Alex Tuck helps you more and is worth less than Panarin, and he will actually help you against the Panthers and the Lightning, if that makes sense. And Jason says that Eisenman doesn't want Reynolds. No, he does not. He's proven that time and time again. We've called for it, and he's never done it. Broadway wouldn't look great next to ASP while Sherratt goes to the third pair with Aljo. And yeah, I think they would. I think they would. Brosberg would be a great addition. I would be extremely happy with that. I don't know if they're selling, though. That's been a rumor that's been going on for a pretty long time, and there's been no movement on either side. We'll just TSN giving Wings a lot of respect, one of the most improved sides in the NHL. Hey, that's what I like to hear. I mean, those are the like no offense to ESPN, who's been doing hockey in the States for a little while, but the guys who are on TSN who cover hockey are the best. They have some really elite guys up there, Overdrive, all that stuff. I watch a lot of that in my free time when I'm looking for news about the NHL, and so that's good to hear. And they are really analytical darlings this year, and that's something they couldn't say in the past. They were always negative in a lot of categories. So I'm starting to believe, and that's where I'm going to leave it. I am really starting to believe in this team. They're beating good teams. Everyone was saying how hot the Leafs were going in this game, and the Wings come out, they respond, they win. Great game by Edvinsson, DeBrincat. I mean, the whole team. The whole team played well, and same with Talbot, and he's been now that he's playing in that real like 1B role, not having to be the number one in any capacity, has started to really pay dividends for him, and he's starting to play some good hockey. So it's going to be nice to see down the stretch. Well, only time will tell. But thank you for tapping in. From Justin Satawa and Spencer Raxer, who's not here, this is Woodward Wings. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Have a great night. Happy holidays, and have a great new year. We'll catch you in the next one.